everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Ha. Actually not. Once you find out just how easy it is to make corned beef at home, you're going to make it more than once a year. I'm willing to bet most folks haven't even made it. So this is unbelievably easy. It says it takes 7 days, but that's 7 days. You just check on it twice. It's so simple. So what we're going to do, I'm going to talk really quick about the cut of meat. This is a brisket, okay? The brisket comes from the chest portion of the cow, and it is known to be very flavorful, but it requires special preparation technique, and that's one of the things where corned beef really shines. So most briskets are large. They're between 8 and 9 pounds, thereabouts, on a decent sized animal. So what I like to do though, and what we do at the farm, is we separate the two parts. There's two parts of the brisket. There's the point and the flat. And the point sits on top of the flat, and it makes one end of it really thick, okay? We take the flat part and we grind that into burger, but we save the point because I believe it has a bigger muscle fiber, it has more marbling, and it's juicier. It's just better all around. On top of that, for a lot of people, having a 4.5 pound piece of meat is a lot easier to deal with than an 8 or 9 pound piece of meat. So that's one of the huge reason why we cut these into this section. So I have a point half. I'm going to grab a knife. I'm going to open this baby up. Okay. Now, all right. You can see those muscle fibers. They're really big. They're really long. The other thing that it makes it nice for is to slice this against the grain. You only have one direction of the grain, whereas with the flat, it's two directions. So you have to cut it two different ways. So we're gonna just, it's unbelievably easy. Okay, just a real quick word about spices. This is so easy. I've seen a lot of people do this differently. And they try to get it all together and they get individual spices. I found that the easiest way to do this is you buy pickling spice. You can go to any grocery store. Any grocery store has those little things of pickling spice. They're like a normal container size. I don't buy that. We use the organic stuff, and that is a little bit harder to find. You can buy it on Amazon or you can find it online, but we just throw everything in a container. And a word about the container is you don't want this humongous container that the meat is going to swim around in. You want a container that the meat is going to fit nicely in, not humongous, okay? And that's the other nice thing about us cutting these point briskets off, is it's so much easier to deal with. So next thing, I'm gonna grab some boiling water. I have a kettle of boiling water because Erin is a tea fanatic, so we have a kettle that she makes tea, and I'm gonna grab that. And all the boiling water does is it works to dissolve. Wow, the aroma that puts in the air is absolutely amazing. So all the boiling does is it dissolves the salt and it releases all of the oils and the flavors from the spices into the solution. All right, so we're gonna give this a stir, make sure all the salt is dissolved. The smell of that, get a facial. This cinnamon, it gets you. And then once you've seen that it's fully dissolved, It takes a bit. If you're gonna do it on the stove top, you want to definitely bring it up to a boil, shut it off. There we have it. Now, if you're impatient, you want to cool it down quickly, add some ice cubes to it. That'll cool it down. You don't want to put the meat in boiling water. You don't want to cook it right now. We want it to cure. We'll go ahead and give those ice cubes a little stir. The water is now cool. Go ahead. It's so simple. We just drop that baby in. So you can see how nicely that is covered by the water. Now, one of the things that you want to pay attention to is you don't want pieces like this to be sticking up out of the water. There's numerous ways you can solve that. You could put a plate on this and weight it down and you're good to go. What I do is I just grab a piece of plastic and I push the plastic down in here and cover the water, okay? So you get an airtight seal just by putting the plastic against the water. So grab that. There we go. And so you just tuck that plastic. You're not looking to wrap it around like that. You're looking to tuck that in. Boom. And that's it. That's what it looks like. You can put this in your refrigerator. Since Ohio right now, this time of year, is a ginormous refrigerator, I put it in a cooler. I put it in the garage. The garage is not heated. If you're not comfortable with that, that's fine. You can put it in your refrigerator, keep it stable. You might want to put something over top of this so you can stack stuff on top of it. But you do want to have access to it because you're going to rotate this every day for the next 7 days. So we're going to go put this outside in the cooler and we will see you again in 7 days. Okay, we're back, everybody. Actually, this has not been 7 days for us. We had a schedule change and it's been 9 days, and that's okay. As long as you keep turning this baby every day, in my opinion, you should have it done by 10 days, so don't go over 10 days. Meat gets pretty salty, but this is what it looks like when it comes out. Now, there's a lot of places that say to rinse it off, and that's fine. If you want to rinse it off, that's okay. I don't rinse it off, and here's why. Anything that's in there is gonna boil forever and a day, so 3 hours is gonna kill. This is fully cooked. Nothing's alive in here. The salt solution, okay? Now, a word on this is because you don't use the nitrate infused salt, it's not gonna turn red. It's gonna be brown, okay? That salt, that pink salt, has nitrates in it. That's what gives it that red coat, all right? Now, one more thing is on the pan, you wanna be sure that the pot that you use is not significantly larger than the piece of meat. One of the reasons why I love cutting these 1/2 briskets for you folks is because they fit in a cast iron like this perfectly. Next step, just got done cutting wood, so this is perfectly fine for me. This is my rag. Who needs a dish rag when you got a shirt, right? So I had just another pinch or so of the pickling spice just to give it some added zing. Since I can't pinch it, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on there. And all we're gonna do, we're gonna add this water and we're gonna cover it just to the top. And that's it. We're not going any further than that. So we're gonna cook this for 2 hours. We're gonna bring it up to a boil a rolling good hard boil. And then we're gonna turn that down so it simmers really hot in between a boil and a simmer. And we're gonna do that for 2 hours. The total cook time is 3 hours, but in 2 hours, that's when we're gonna add the potatoes, and that's when we're gonna add the cabbage. See you in 2 hours. Okay, we're at that 3-hour mark. Got my clothes changed, time to relax. So just to round out the last hour, we're gonna add the potatoes. We use smaller potatoes, but we cut them in half. It's about the size you want. So think in terms of like a bowl full of this, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and add the potatoes around. So what you're gonna do now that you put potatoes in that are, room temperature, you wanna jack the heat up, okay? We gotta bring that back up to a very vigorous boil. And the last hour is going to be a little bit more of a vigorous boil than we did for the previous 3 hours. Now, as far as the cabbage goes, what we're going to do is we're going to break this up like this in about chunks like that, and we're going to add this to the top, and we're going to think about just kind of layering it down. So just think about we're kind of layering this on top of there. So even though it looks like this is gonna like jump out of the pot and we're not gonna be able to get the lid on, this cabbage is gonna cook way down, and then by the time it's all said and done, it's all gonna be part of the broth, part of the mixture. So we're just gonna keep, and we're gonna kind of pack that down a little bit. You don't really have to. That's what the lid is for. And we're gonna put the lid on this, get it up to a good boil, and come back in about an hour. It's gonna be ready to roll. All right, it has been 4 hours, and we are ready to go. This is exciting. So we put the potatoes and the cabbage in, but the smell is ridiculous. So one of the things you're gonna notice, remember I said how this was going to cook down, and it does. So I'm gonna reach in here and I'm gonna find the piece of meat, I'm gonna find the edge, I'm gonna move some potatoes around, and I'm gonna, oh baby, it's starting to fall apart. And that's what you want. Now, okay, I got it together. One of the things I like to do is I put a cutting board on a cookie sheet. That keeps the juices from spewing all out all over the place. How do I know that? I've not done it and juices spew out all over the place. So, I'm gonna grab that baby and bring her out here. Now, one of the things that you really need to pay attention to is there's a grain. You can see that is the end of the grain, so that muscle fiber goes this way. I'm gonna flip this over, okay? And you can see the grain goes this way. You wanna slice this against the grain, so that's gonna have a really short muscle fiber that's gonna give you a perfect slice. Let's see what it looks like on a plate. Gonna get us, now watch this. Look at how, boom, look at those taters. I'm gonna give everybody a tater or two, some cabbage, okay. Now the beauty of this is in this liquid, if you want to cook more cabbage, if you want to cook more potatoes, there's plenty of liquid here, okay? So we're gonna, oh, so now I'm gonna start right here. You can see that the grain, and I'm gonna slice that nice and thin. That is absolutely gorgeous. If you don't like the fat, you can just cut that fat off. I like the fat. I eat it like butter. Now there's two ways you can do this. If you want to serve it straight up, bingo, that's it. What I do is I cut the whole thing. And even though we're going to serve everybody tonight, I'll cut the whole thing and then put it back in, and then tomorrow morning it is ridiculously good. So that's it, everybody. That is your corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes. If you want to ladle it, if you want to ladle some in, the juice is pretty salty, so that's going to probably be your salt. It doesn't get much better than that, to be perfectly honest with you. The amount of time that goes into this is next to nothing. It is so easy to do. My hope is that this helps more people realize that you can make your own corned beef out of your own ingredients, the finest around. Grass-fed, grass-finished corned beef, organic potatoes, organic cabbage, organic spices. It's better than anything you're going to pay for in the restaurant. You're going to be able to do it at a fraction of the cost. Let's eat, everybody. Bam!